Okay, so I just hit record, so I think that means it'll be for the YouTube video now. So
Yeah. Okay.
um, I'll start presenting. Thanks for everyone waiting for me to figure out my microphone. My first time using this newer platform. So this was RISC-V Open Hours, meant to be kind of an informal hangout to talk about RISC-V topics, especially software projects and dev boards. Also, the call for participation is open, so anyone that wants to should participate. You don't have to have like a talk prepared or slides. You just want to like demo something. That's nice as well. I know for the ones that happen for better time for Asia time zone, there's sometimes presentations of progress for different distros and languages and runtimes, which is very nice. And then the videos all get uploaded to that link there afterwards. So the one that was 2 weeks ago, that was, I believe, in the morning for people that are in Asia. That video is up there. And then coming up, there's a meetup. I think it's virtual for Germany. Coming up, let's see. It's hybrid, so it's in person and you can join online in Germany. So that's coming up next week, I guess. Yeah, next Friday. And then the next one for the Asia morning / America's evening would be August 9th. And the next one that's in this time zone, which is like European evening / America's morning, will be uh, August 23rd. So we do it every 2 weeks, and then we flip-flop the time zone so that one is okay for Asia and one's okay for Europe. And nominally this started because I'm in the West Coast of America. So though I'm always open to other ideas. So if people have feedback, it's good to know what time zones will work better. And then oftentimes we have RISC-V ambassadors that are attend. So that's me, I'm Drew, and then Wei Fu is also on. And then for the ones that happen in the Asia time zone, usually Wei Wu and many of the people from the Chinese Academy of Science will join, and also Akira from Japan, who's one of the other ambassadors. So for people that are not familiar with RISC-V International, it's the organization that develops the RISC-V specifications. And it's a nonprofit organization with lots of members that include companies and universities. But important thing to remember for individuals, you can become a member of RISC-V International free of cost. So before I was involved in any companies or organizations that were members of RISC-V International, I was able to join just as myself as an individual, free of cost. Also, if you're part of a nonprofit like the Beagle Board.org Foundation, I believe we joined through that mechanism since we're a nonprofit. There's the RISC-V Wiki, which has lots of helpful resources. So that's always a good thing to keep an eye on, wiki.riscv.org. And actually going back, if you want to become a member, it's just riscv.org/membership. And you can fill out the form there and become a member. And let me drop the link for the slides again into the chat over here, just for people that didn't have it. And then usually when this gets uploaded to YouTube, we'll include a link to the slides because there's a lot of link in these slides. So if you're watching it on YouTube, you'll be able to access them. There's also a mailing list for all the different task groups and special interest groups for RISC-V International. So all the groups that are working on different specifications, there's a mailing list for each one where a lot of activity happens. So like if I look at my subgroups here, there's all sorts of stuff for different areas that I'm interested in, that I subscribe to. You do need to be a member to participate in the mailing list, but again, you can become a member free of cost. And then there's also the public archive. So anyone can go and look at the history of discussion in any of these groups. And another thing that many of the task groups and special interest groups have is they have either usually bi-weekly or monthly meetings. So you can check that out on the technical meetings calendar. So for example, actually, unfortunately, at the same time as this right now is the server SoC specification task group. So this is one of the newer ones, and I've been paying attention to this. So they're trying to come up with a specification in terms of what sort of hardware capabilities a server class SoC should have. I think the idea behind this, and Fuwei, you might have some thoughts about this, is to make it easier for enterprise distributions to be able to run on RISC-V servers in the future. So that's a pretty interesting group. Have you heard about this one, Fuwei?
I haven't joined the discussion, and
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
it's a good
Mhm.
things. And when they start, I haven't, I never noticed a server SoC, but I know there's a platform discussion or something. But this is
Yeah.
really new to me.
Yeah, this started, I would say, less than 2 months ago, I think. So Ved from Revos and a couple other people have
Hmm.
started up the effort. And I think the idea is if we want to be able to support like a single image, a single Linux distro image across different servers, that it would be a good if there's some standardization as to what hardware those server SoCs have. So I think it's quite interesting, and that's part of what's going to play into like the overall platform strategy for
Hmm.
RISC-V, which I think Mark Himmelstein, the CTO of RISC-V, he was saying that they're hoping to have RISC-V platform specification ready next year, 2024. One of the other groups that I often participate or often try to join is on Mondays, there's the boot and runtime services task group. So they're working on a specification as to like how will RISC-V system should boot. And they're kind of talking about two different use cases. One is a more embedded use case, and the other one is kind of a server class system. So, for example, like this specification is going to require like that the server would support ACPI and UEFI. And again, kind of the idea behind this is to make it easier for um, software like Linux distros to be able to have like a single image that runs across multiple different RISC-V systems. That one I think is meeting weekly now. And then one of the ones that's bi-weekly is the platform and runtime services. So I know it can be a bit confusing because we have boot and runtime services, and then we have platform and runtime services. And they do have a lot of overlap. The BRS is really working more on a specification of how the boot flow should work in a standardized way. And PRS kind of is more delving into the actual individual specifications, such as the SBI server, the server supervisor binary interface specification, and the implementation of that, which is called OpenSBI. Kind of one of the main focuses for the PRS group, but I'm interested in Linux systems and server systems. So the BRS, the BRS and PRS, and the server SoC groups are things that I pay attention to, and I try and attend the meetings when I can. But depending on what you're interested in, like there's many different topics, and they tend to meet at least once a month or more regularly than that for some of the groups. So it's a good way to get involved, find out more. There is another group that meets just monthly, and this is called the SoC Infrastructure Horizontal Committee. That's what HC stands for. Basically, this is a committee that then spawns off additional task groups to focus on different areas. Like, so for example, we recently had an IO MMU, an IO memory management unit specification. So this is helpful for systems that have PCI Express and want to use virtualization. And that specification was generated by a task group that came out of this SoC infrastructure horizontal committee. So they have a monthly meeting where they go over all the different task groups that have kind of spawned out of them to cover different topics. So like one that I have been involved in is the quality of service for cache and memory bandwidth called CBQRI. So that's another specification that's come out of this group, and they have monthly meetings. So anyways, I've gotten a lot of value over the last couple of years by trying to attend these meetings when I can. Of course, you can also read the mailing list. Each of these groups also has a mailing list. So I usually try and do a mix of that to keep up to date with what's going on. Let's see. Well, I think that's pretty much it for this one. Yeah, and then just a screenshot, which I already showed in the browser here, that there's a lot of meetings. So check it out, see what interests you. And again, you can join free of cost as a member of RISC-V International. And then once you're a member, you can attend the meetings. And then I think one of the things that's typically of a lot of interest to the people that come to open hours is development boards. And I know Fue talked about this, I think, in the last one, is that RISC-V International has a developer boards program, which is quite nice. So let's click on the link here. So you can find out about the different boards that are being offered on this webpage and how the program works. And at different times, there's different boards being offered, and you can apply for them. So right now, you can see here in the past, there's been a bunch of other boards that have done, such as the NESA board with the Allwinner D1, the Sci-Fi 1 match, the original Star 5 Vision 5, the Roma laptop based on the 1510, though that's not shipped yet, but that the applications are closed for that now. But looking at we currently have applications still open for the Pioneer box, the Milk 5 Pioneer box. And this is a really exciting system. It has 64 cores, which is, like, I think, going to be the most powerful RISC-V system that's been created so far. And the proposals are still open for this, so you can still apply for this by, let's see, the 31st, which is Monday, at least Monday in the Americas. So yeah, I would recommend, if you're working on a project and you think you need these sorts of specifications. Like, for example, I talked to someone who maintains OpenMandriva, which is a Linux distribution. So I think for people working in Linux distributions, this sort of system would be very helpful. But yeah, depending on what sort of project you work on, fill out the form. I think there probably might be more limited number of the Pioneer box because it's a rather expensive system. Alternatively, there's the Vision 5.2 from Star 5. And that's also quite capable SoC. It's only 4-core versus 64-core, but I think for a lot of projects, they'd be well suited with the Vision 5.2. Also, the engineers from Star 5 have been doing a lot of work to get that SoC supported in mainline Linux. So I think it's a pretty good target for a lot of people that want to, get their open source project running on RISC-V. And that's also accepting applications right now. Did you have anything to add, Fue?
Sorry, again, anything what?
Oh, just I just was curious if you had any comments. But otherwise,
no,
I'll keep on going to the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
more developer boards coming. I know the slide, the coming up slide will introduce more developer board, right?
Yeah.
I think
yes, yeah.
more Milk 5 board will join this program. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So in general, too, the idea is that as vendors come out with more boards, that some of them will show up in the developer boards program as well. So it's a great way, I think, for people to get hardware, especially people that are working on open source projects. All right, and then I guess this was from the last meeting, which was 2 weeks ago, and I think that was right after the day that the Beagle 5 had launched. So myself, Drew, I'm part of the BeagleBoard.org Foundation. So we were excited to finally start shipping a RISC-V board. So this is available with distributors right now. It has the T-Head TH1520 SoC, so that's a quad core with the C910 core. Though I don't know, Fue, you were saying that it's actually the C920. I don't know. I'm a little confused about that terminology for the T-head cores. Do you know better, or I've just been writing this C910.
1520, right? About 1520.
Yeah,
right? The code is using. Yes. Actually, we can call it C920 because C910 is the C910 plus the RVV 0.7 is C920. So it just in
Okay.
C920 means including vector extension.
Okay. Yeah, I think some of the diagrams show C910, but it sounds like there's not a big difference between C910 and C920. It's just that I guess it's more correct to say C920 because that implies that it has the t-head vector 0.71. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. But otherwise, it sounds like it's not like there's a big performance difference or something. It's just talking about the fact that I guess it has um, the t-head vector extensions. And I guess that makes sense because this first came out like what 3 years ago, right? When they had the ICE board, and that was the C910. So, and that one I think it had what like 2 cores that didn't have vector and 1 core that had the t-head vector. So. Anyways, I'm now thinking of C910 and C920 as kind of equivalent in my head when I read them because they seems like they get used kind of interchangeably in a lot of the diagrams I've seen. So yeah, this is the a very low resolution version of the block diagram for the SoC. But yeah, in addition to the quad core, there's other capabilities as well, including the C906, which is what was in the Allwinner D1, is in here just for audio subsystem. And I think there's a couple other embedded cores as well. So definitely has a lot of capabilities. Let's go back over here. So for the purposes of the Beagle 5 ahead, we're shipping a Yocto-based image, and that's based on the SDK that T-Head produces. So this has older versions of Linux. It has Linux 5.10. It has an older version of U-Boot. But it has full support for all the hardware peripherals. So all of those things that we saw in the block diagram here, all that's working in the Yocto-based image because it's using the full support from T-Head. So what we're shipping fully supports everything. I've also been looking at trying to get the mainline Linux kernel, so 6.5 release candidate running on it. So I've started to submit some patches for that. One just builds on the basic stuff that was already done by Ginseng for the Lychee Pi board with the same SoC. And then I have a RFC with kind of a hacky way of getting the eMMC working. And now I'm trying to do a more proper way of doing that by porting the PHY configuration from the MMC driver that's in the T-Head SDK to the driver that's in mainline Linux. Did I say the name correct, Fue, for Ginseng Zhang? Or I'm not sure how to say the name correctly. I've never. Is that correct?
You mean the people who
Yeah,
who
the
made
the
the
person who did
hat? Yeah.
yes. Is that
Uh,
did I say it correct?
Let me check. Let me check. I
Xing or
also need to check the.
so it doesn't matter. I mean, I suppose it doesn't matter that much because I also have it up on the screen. But I guess that's one of the things with the internet is I communicate over text with people, but then I often, I
Uh,
don't talk to
it,
many people, so I
so
don't know how to say names.
I think his name called Jishen Zhang. Yes.
Okay, all
Mm-hmm.
right. So he's done a lot of work to get the basic support for the T-Head 1520 into mainline Linux right now.
Yes.
And also interestingly, he's also the author of the MMC driver that's used in this SoC. It's using the same
Yes.
IP controller.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
that's actually kind of a nice coincidence. So I think hopefully we'll be able to have MMC support working soon in upstream Linux. And then I think he also has network working as well in mainline Linux. So I think he has some patches that he's still going to be submitting. But so I think work is in progress to get this better supported in mainline Linux. But
Mm-hmm.
for right now, for people that want to use like the SIPid Lychee Pi for a
Mm-hmm.
board and the Beagle 5 ahead, it's probably best to use the images that are based on the T-head kernel for now, if people want to be able to use all the peripherals. But if you're a kernel developer or interested in kernel development, you can also check out these patches, and it'll get you to the point of being able to boot off the eMMC with like a basic console. So I'm a bit biased because I'm mainly interested in kernel development, but the Yocto image definitely has a lot of the functionality already there. And then, of course, Fue, you've been working on Fedora as well for both the
we do have
Pi.
we do have a Fedora image long time ago,
Yes.
so which can run on Beagle 5 actually. Um, just when you put it up, you just need to select it and the other option to put into. It's not a default option, so that's a problem. But you can run into the Beagle 5. Yes. Something here. Uh, let me see. Copy the address.
What's the
Uh,
best page for that? Is it the T-head page on the Fedora wiki?
no. In OpenCogi is Koji Instant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I paste it into the link if you update it.
Okay. Into the chat, or where did you?
Into the slide.
Oh, you edited the slide.
Yes.
Oh, is it the next one? Should I just jump ahead to Fedora? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. You can change
you're
the.
editing it live. Okay, cool. All right, very good. Cool. Yeah, and then that also covers the Lychee Pi board that has the same SoC as well.
Yes. For now, yes.
So there's also, I guess we don't have it in the slides, but there's also the Lychee Pi 4A, which is from Sciped. Well, I used to say Sciped, but then you were saying people say Sciped, so I try and say Sciped now. And then I believe for this, so this board has the same SoC
Yes.
that's being used in the Beagle 5 ahead. And I think also the Roma laptop also has the same SoC. And then there's going to be additional boards that are using this SoC as well. And then I did order one of these a few months ago, and I bought it on AliExpress. So I think that's the main way people get them is from AliExpress. But I suppose if you're in China, you can also order from Taobao. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is also an option. And then let's see. The next slide that you had done from the last meeting was the Milk 5 family. So we mentioned the Pioneer box, and then it has the 64-core Softgo, the SG2042, but they also have other boards as well, right? So there's the Duo. Is the Duo out right now? Is that something people can buy?
It's already on. It's already in the how to say in the store. Yeah, you can just buy that. Yeah.
And is that using the Buffalo Labs? Is that the Buffalo Labs, or what's the chip on the Duo?
From Sophico, it's RISC-V, also a RISC-V 64 chip, RISC-V 64 chip. Yeah, but it's a dual core.
Interesting. Oh, it's also from Softco, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Were these? Let me clean up some of my tabs here. Is there a link? Is the slide linked to it, or? Okay, so,
you mean the introduction site for that, right?
Yeah, I was just wondering what
Yeah,
is a good link for people. Okay. So, okay, it looks like you can order an AliExpress. And is this something that you can run Linux on, or?
Yes.
Is it more microcontroller? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But the memory is not too big. It's just maybe
64
megabyte.
Yes. Okay. So this is 64 megabytes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it looks like it has the T-head C906, so similar to the Allwinner D1, right? So it has two of those. Okay. and then a neural network TPU.
I add a link
Oh, you had it. Okay.
in the slide. Yes, I add a link in
I
the
like
slide.
this. You're editing as we speak. That's great. What is CVI Tech? Is that a company?
Which one?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. That this CV 1835. This is something from this is
Okay.
from Softco as well, as you were
Yes.
saying. This so
Mhm.
this is the name of a product.
Yes.
The
Mhm.
CV Tech, CVI Tech. Okay. Interesting. I didn't
For
realize that
the
Softco had a
camera.
whole
Yeah.
family. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't realize that they had a whole line of processors beyond just the SG2040. Okay, well, that's quite
If you
interesting.
check more, you can also see the AI salary card with a very good tops. They have 246 tops AI salary card. So maybe at someday this kind of a knowledge technology will go with the RISC-V core.
Okay, is this I was not familiar with Softco before I heard about the 64 core RISC-V chip, but it looks like they also do a lot of like machine learning type things
Right.
or the
Right.
neural
Yes.
network. Okay.
Yes, I send a link into the chat, and
Oh,
you
let me
can
see.
see they already tried this AI car with Pioneer board with the SG 2042 already.
Oh, I see. It was a direct message. So yeah, I didn't. I had it full screen, so I wasn't seeing the messages in the chat. Okay, this AI accelerator card. Okay, so this is their own design. Then it looks like
Yes.
the chip. Okay, and you're saying in the future this might be RISC-V.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
maybe.
still the AI salary core, but maybe someday you they will work with the RISC-V core. Work with is not using, you know.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it's interesting. Because I've been quite. I mean, I'm quite excited about the 64 core RISC-V chip. I'd also been curious as to like what sort of markets, what sort of industries, their customers are in. So that's interesting to know a bit more about that. Um,
It will be a little like tutorials.
okay, cool. And then the link you put in here was this was to the page about the chip. Okay, cool.
Yes.
And then I guess so, and you're saying some of these might also show up on the RISC-V International's Developer Boards program.
Hmm.
And then, of course, they have the Mars. I don't know. Are these out yet, or is this coming soon still? These two other ones.
Which one?
Well, so they have one that's based on the Star 5
Oh yeah.
JH7110. That's called the
The core.
Mars.
This
Um,
why Mars has
yeah,
released, and
it's
the
out. Okay.
methods. I guess it pronounced methods, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with it, but yeah, but this one's not out yet then, right?
Demo boys made it.
Demo, okay.
Yes.
And these both have basically it's kind of the same form factor, a Raspberry Pi form factor, right?
Right.
Okay. So
They are very good at this.
this is the Mars. What's the best place to go to Milk 5? Is it like Milk 5?
You have a they have a MILK-FI IO.
Oh, okay, I see here. Maybe I'll add that to the slide here.
Yes, you can add this into slide.
There we go. So um okay,
And
so
they
they have
have a
their
They have a Mars uh,
okay.
link. Let me put it into here.
Okay, so they have product pages for each.
Yeah. Mhm.
Cool. Very nice. I think I am most excited about this one. Actually, you had pointed out on the or I don't know, recently when we were talking, I noticed on the crowd supply page that there's a link to um, the Telegram chat, or not Telegram, Matrix chat, right? So they have Matrix chat for Milk 5 Pioneer, probably the other boards as well, right? So I thought that was quite interesting. I joined that, so that was cool. Maybe I should link to that. I like it. We're editing slides live. Yeah, so I guess that covers Milk 5 pretty well. And then I guess for the future, we should add a slide for SIPID. So the most recent one from SIPID is the Lychee Pi 4A, right?
Right.
Okay. And then I guess the next one is Fedora. I don't know is there anything new since 2 weeks since? Oh, you updated it for today.
Yeah,
no?
I did a little update, and we
Okay.
have
Did you want to talk about it?
Yes. We already made more than 91.7 packaging just now, and I updated from OpenCodeG system, and you can see the main package version are the latest version of all the important, the important component in the operation system, like the GCC or Perl Python. They are the latest one. And recently, like today, we update Golang to 1.20. And for the desktop, we enable KDE, and you can see the most famous desktop. We have been support most of this desktop, and
Yeah, you have like so many there.
yes,
That's
and
impressive.
also we will try to enable Genome on on BeagleFi
Cool.
ahead, because we will send the only blocker for this is we need a patch for Mesa, which is
Okay.
user space graphic driver for Imagination GPU. So we will send the engineer to T-Hat to merge the patch internally and then release the binary.
Great.
I think maybe next month we will support GNOME or maybe KDE on BeagleFi hand. Yeah.
And
And
now, are you using any of the T-head vector in Fedora, or does it
no,
use the T-head vector? No.
we
Okay.
using Fedora native Fedora GCC, so it's not
Okay.
it cannot support any vector. But I think the other operation system for Open Knowledge will support this by using their own toolchain. Yes.
Okay. What's the other one called?
Open Knowledge. Let me just paste into the chat.
Yeah.
So I will also send you the Koji system from Open Knowledge.
Okay.
Okay,
Interesting.
let's their Koji system. But it's not there are not any RISC-V support uh, now, but they will put RISC-V into support list.
Okay. Is it based on any of the other Linux distributions, or is it
Yes, it's branch from Fedora.
Okay, so it's based on Fedora. Okay.
Yeah, CentOS and maybe Fedora. So branch from kind of Fedora 37 to 38. So it already
Okay.
branch is totally the other operation system now. It's not the Fedora clone. It's not Fedora clone.
Okay.
Mm.
Very interesting. So cool. So you're saying that you're looking at adding support for basically 3D acceleration or
Yes,
GPU acceleration, right?
yes,
In
yes.
GNOME. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what's the compositor in GNOME? I always forget the name, but it would then be able to use that.
Mesa.
Mesa. Okay, so you would have then support for Mesa with the GPU that's in the THAD TH1520.
Yes.
Would then okay, cool. That's great. So I've not tried the desktop experience too much, but then would you be able to do things in like the web browser that use WebGL and that sort of stuff as well, or?
And also I'm not sure if you noticed that Cebit also released showed a demo about laptop using TH 1520.
Okay, was that on Twitter? Maybe.
Yes, you can see it in Twitter. Yes.
Or I guess Twitter is called X now. Let's see. Um, oh, look at they're using Wine. Well, that's cool. This is running Wine on the TH1520 to play games. That's cool.
Mhm.
This must be it. Okay, no, this is running Android. Okay, for an Android pad next month. Wow, that's cool. Oh, is this the debugger that you were telling us about, or is that just for UART? That's just a UART adapter then, I guess,
Let me
connected
check.
to the board. Yeah, it looks like it's just UART, I guess. Cool. I think I need to go farther back in time. Okay, here we go. A laptop. Okay,
Yes, a
that's
laptop.
cool.
Mhm.
Oh, let me mute it. Cool. So this is the video with the laptop.
Mhm.
Well, that's really nice. I like that.
And also, the other vendor also will make a laptop, which I know.
Is it the Roma or something other than the Roma?
No, Roma, it's
Okay.
not Roma. Yes, Roma already been known by anyone, but actually, this Pied laptop must be much cheaper,
Yes.
and yeah, and we also I know some other guy also making a laptop based on ZH 710 and 1520. Yeah.
Wow, I like the look of this SIPID laptop. Looks
Mhm.
nice.
And also, that's why I try to make GPU up running on Fedora because
Yeah.
by this chance I can make the laptop running more smoothly. The desktop environment.
Cool. Yeah, I guess I'd seen a little bit of that, but I didn't know it was all nicely packaged and everything. That's pretty cool. Oh, this is 5 Lychee pies hooked up to screens with Fedora, or no? Is that no
Uh,
Debian? Sorry,
it's not
sorry,
the
Debian, Debian, not Fedora.
Debian, yes,
Yeah,
but
cool.
the desktop I guess is XFCE, I guess.
Is it okay? Yeah, yeah, it looks like that. Yeah. Cool. All right, let me go back to the Fedora. Cool. So GNOME is coming, which I guess will be useful because there'll be laptops with this SoC as well. So that will be
Actually,
good.
the information I show here about OpenSPI EDK2 means um, w- originally uh, we use OpenSPI with the embed into the EDK2, but now we already separated. You can load OpenSPI and then load EDK2 and run graph. So the SPI implementation don't have to merge, just put into the EDK2. It already be separated. It's made the whole boot chain more clean, more, you don't have to use specific SBI implementation now.
Cool. So is it the case that EDK2 runs in S mode then? It runs in supervisor mode for the EDK2?
It's run in SMO.
Okay.
Yeah, it's SMO. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you transition from M mode to S mode in SBI, Open SBI, right? And then EDK2 just runs in S mode. And then
And
is
then
this like a fork of EDK2, or do you know where people can see this? Maybe their GitHub, I suppose.
the code haven't been released. I guess.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I guess I saw in their I saw in the Milk 5 what is it, Matrix channel, they said maybe 10 weeks or something until they start until the systems are ready. So I
Mm-hmm.
suppose they'll probably have all that ready once they finally start shipping it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's cool. I know from a lot of the discussions in like the boot runtime services group and some of the other groups that there's a lot of interest in running ACPI in UEFI on RISC-V. Obviously, we already have UEFI implementation and U-boot, but this is a full implementation, right? So I guess it supports
Yes.
all of the boot protocols. So
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool. I suppose it's the sort of thing that people running servers will want to see. So
Yes.
um,
Of course.
and
Yes.
I'm assuming like I'm gonna get I want to get the Pioneer box, but I'm assuming there'll also be rack mountable servers with this chip, right? Next year or
Yes.
something like that.
They will have a 2U server and
Okay.
2U server, which is two-way server also.
Cool. And I know some people have like complained that it doesn't have hypervisor, but like to be honest, like this is gonna be so much more powerful than anything that we have right now in the RISC-V world. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure in the future they might add hypervisor, but I don't think you necessarily need that to have like a useful server system. So I'm quite excited about it. So you've got an image for that then. So I'm sure there's
Yeah.
probably people. Okay.
You can just search that. Let me check.
Well, I
Uh,
don't think I suppose not many people have them. So I suppose if you have one, you
yes.
know who to talk to. So and then you're working on a new image for the Star 5 or as well.
Uh, yeah, I haven't make it, but I do have some development board like Mars. I do have Mars
Okay.
and Vision 5v2.
What for the JH7110 boards? Would they all use the same Fedora image, or do you have to create a different Fedora image for the different boards?
They can just use the same because the
Okay.
only different is DTV.
Okay. Cool. Oh, and then this is ROS as in Robot Operating System.
Yes.
Okay.
We
Cool.
already built it on Fedora 38.
Cool. And I remember from the ARM-based Beagle bones and Beagle boards, I know that was always a very popular package for people that
Mhm.
were running. And actually, we shipped Debian, but a lot of people would switch to Ubuntu because they had ROS packaged
Mhm.
for that. I mean, at least at the time, this was a while ago, but that's good to see that that's also in Fedora 38. So
Mhm.
people can make their RISC-V robots with Fedora.
Yes, of course.
Uh,
We built it.
cool.
We also joined me and two colleagues also joined the Fedora Robot 6 SIG, and we
Cool.
got the RPM package for ROS 2. So we are trying to build RPM package. Then maybe in the future we can just install the ROS 2 by yarn dnf install this command.
Great. That's great. And then overall, like, when do you see Fedora becoming like be seeing RISC-V becoming official in Fedora? Do you think
Um,
that'll happen
we
soon or?
we tried we already right now actually we're trying to make it happen, and maybe in 40 or 41.
Okay, because you need to be able to build natively, right?
Yeah. Well,
You know,
actually, my, we already built more than 90%. It's also native, but the only problem is using Qmil to build it, and
yeah.
the official one need to use a real server. So we trying to get server from SoftGo and see if we can build we can have a very good infrastructure to build real Fedora support. So I guess should be 40 or maybe 40.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. I forget the person's name. I think maybe it was Matthew Miller.
Yes,
I had given
machine
a
learning.
talk.
Yes.
It was maybe a year or two ago, but he had asked after my talk was over, like, are there any servers? Because he was saying like they need something they can put in a data center before it can
Hmm.
become official.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
it sounds like we're close to that, right? Maybe the end of
Very
this
close.
year, maybe next year, maybe early next year, there'll be like real RISC-V
Hmm.
servers. So
Yeah. Hmm.
I know Ventana is supposed to have something ready maybe by the end of this year, and of
Hmm.
course the Softgo should be shipping by the end of this year. So
Yeah.
sounds like we'll have,
Yeah. In this
yeah,
year, we definitely can have soft code server.
that's great. Yeah, so it sounds like official Fedora is coming
Yes.
soon.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, and then okay, you've got a screenshot here, cool, of
Hmm.
this running on the is on the Pioneer box or something like that.
Yes, Pioneer box.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
KDE.
nice. Well, that's great. And it's got 125 gigabytes of memory. Very nice. 64 processors. That's great. And did you have to find a particular graphics card that would work, or was that difficult to find one that worked, or was it easy, or
Sorry. What?
what is it? Was it difficult to find a GPU that works well, or is do you know?
We use the very old AMD
Okay,
graphic card. Yes, just
okay.
15 for 500 550. I guess it's called 550.
But I suppose that'll come in the Pioneer box, I guess, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
If you bought if you buy the whole Pioneer box, it
yeah,
will
right.
definitely work. Hmm.
Okay, yeah, because this has everything in it, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
cool. AMD. So I guess that's like okay, an AMD R5 230. Okay, that's great. Cool. And then I guess you have another one here about 32-bit.
Yes. Um, we have a guy working on 32-bit in Bootstrap. We actually this data is a little bit date. We already made a minimum image for Fedora 38 minimum image on RISC-V 38 32, and you can directly boot into the how to say boot into the show, just like a real Fedora system, and we enable system D.
Cool. What hardware would you use this on? What's
For
the
now, we don't have real hardware to
mhm.
to running for 32-bit, but this is just the first step to test our Bootstrap script. The final target is make 32-bit application or 32-bit code running on 64-bit, because 32-bit has its own advantage, like the code density and some
Right.
memory access speed. 32-bit has more advantage.
Right. I remember I had seen earlier this year, Gao Ren from T had been posting
Yes.
a lot of analysis of how
Mhm,
running 32-bit on 64-bit RISC-V
mhm,
hardware could save a lot of memory for, I
mhm,
guess, for these. I guess he was talking about a class of product that has very small amount of memory, like 32 megabytes or 64 megabytes, right? And for those systems like that, you save a lot of memory by not having
mhm.
64-bit
Right.
kernel in user space. So that's interesting. I think I recall from that thread he was saying like things like digital displays or like TV boxes or something like that. I don't know if you maybe know better what these things are used in, but um, like very low memory systems.
Mhm, mhm. Yes, because most of the product from T-Hat are target on embedded systems. So 32-bit or maybe the low memory, storage uh, will will 32-bit has more advantage. So yeah.
Yeah, right. And I suppose like if you're making a very low cost system, right? I suppose being able to have a smaller amount of memory, right, lowers the bill of materials costs,
Mhm.
lowers
Right.
the
Right.
cost for the parts. So
Mhm.
I guess depending on the product category, right? Like if it's a low cost, low margin item, like I
Mhm.
suppose you want to have as small amount of memory in storage as possible. So I
Mhm.
was kind of surprised by that thread because I was not thinking that like anyone would care about 64 megabytes of memory. But yeah, sounds like there there are current products and upcoming products that do that. So that's
Mhm.
interesting. Cool. Well, I guess that's kind of the end of the Fedora stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff here from other people
PLCT
that normally
actually.
attend the. So as we were saying at the beginning here, there's the open hours that happens in the morning for Asia. So right now it's very late for you, right? So
Yes.
this one was meant more for people that are in Europe to be able
Yes.
to attend in their evening. And then it is, of course, a bit biased towards the Americas because I'm in North America on the West Coast. But as always, so always interested in feedback from people on times. There's never any good time for the whole world, but this is kind of what we've been doing so far. And I would say the one that happens in the Asia morning is very exciting because you and Wei Wu tend to get a lot of people to come and present the work they've been doing. So this one's very exciting. So that one will happen in 2 weeks from now on
Yes.
Wednesday,
Mhm.
the 9th. So um, yeah, it's already been an hour now. So I haven't seen any questions in the chat yet. But yeah, if anyone, I guess we don't have that many people attending live. But if anyone has any questions, put them in the chat. Otherwise, we've been recording this, so it should then go up onto YouTube. And then, of course, we will be back in the Americas evening / Asia morning on, well, hold on, this is confusing. So it'll be August 9th for the Americas, but it'll actually be August 10th for you. Is that correct?
Next one.
Does it have, for you, it's actually Thursday morning, right?
Right.
Uh,
Yes. Already.
yeah. So it's Wednesday evening, August 9th, Wednesday evening for the Americas, but it's actually Thursday morning, August 10th for Asia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess it depends. This is a bit biased. I copied and pasted this from when I pull up the website, so it shows me America's Pacific time. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess it's a different day if you're in Asia, right?
Right.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, I'm glad you joined. Thank you for joining, even though it's late. It's always fun to chat about things, and yeah, I will. I think I should be able to join on the 9th, so I look forward to that. Finding out what's going on with Wei Wu and everyone else is
But
cool.
thank you very much for your patch for the BeagleFi. I will working on that and test it and review that. Let's work together.
Yeah.
May they emerge as soon as possible.
Yes. Yeah, I'm actually debugging it right now. So what I did was it was just basically a hack to get it into a very basic mode to boot from eMMC.
Mhm.
But what I need to do, what I'm doing now is I'm porting the eMMC PHY configuration that's done in the T-head kernel to the upstream driver. Because I think we need to do that to have a stable, robust support for it. So
Yes.
it does the correct PHY configuration, it does the correct eMMC or the tuning operations, which right now we're not doing any of that. So it's very basic, and actually I have 3 boards on my desk, and it works on 2, doesn't work on another one. So it's definitely the current RFC that I posted is not sufficient, but it was just kind of there in case anyone wants to check it out. And then hopefully in the next few days, I'll have a patch that's correctly ported the PHY configuration and the tuning from the T-head kernel into upstream. So actually, I hope in 2 weeks, hopefully I'll have some additional things to share. And I know Jisheng or Jinsheng, I think he's working on it as well. So there'll probably be updates for the next open hours. All right. Well, it was good to talk to you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
And I'll see you next time.
Yeah. Also check.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Also check your
Yes.
slide. I send you a message.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Am I missing something over here? Okay. Anyways, all right. Should I stop recording?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll stop. Sorry. Thank you for watching, everyone. Let's stop recording. Okay.